Hello everyone. So today we will do Mary Daly and if possible the next thinker. So Mary Daly is very see, this is the time period of Mary Daly 1928 to 2010, and she is one of the prominent thinker, belongs from the which is coming from the second wave of feminism. Second wave of feminism, right? Second wave of feminism. Also she belongs to, we can say, she can categorize, we can categorize her as a radical from radical school of thought, radical school of thought, right? Radical school of branch. So when we look into the concept given by the Mary Daly, so she is basically a critical critiques which actually link the patriarchal domination, patriarchy with religion and language. She has given, she has interpret the domination due to the patriarchal system of the society, and she linked with patriarchy with the religion and the language, right? So that's why she becomes one of the prominent thinker who gives a different perspective other than any other thinkers, right? So and basically she also believe in the power of feminist separatism, right? So we can say that she is a separatist, right? So when we look into the background of Mary Daly, so she was born in Schenectady. See, she was basically from New York, New York. So we have to, we can remember from her from US born lady, right? So she was, and when we look into her education, so 1967, she becomes a teacher, right? She started teaching theology and ethics at Boston College, right? Which is a Catholic institution, right? And in from 1967 onward, right, she gained an international, strong national and international reputation, right, to become a feminist, or to become a feminist critique of religion and other philosophy, theological philosophy, right? So what is important for us to know, that she critiques patriarchy while linking it with the religion and language, right? That is one of the important. And when we look into her feminist philosophy and radical views, so let us now let us just try to understand here about her philosophical angle, from where she is coming from, right? That how we can categorize her as a radical school of radical feminist, right? So first of all, when we look into her ideology or the philosophical interpretation of the problems of the society, the challenges which is faced by the marginalized society, so first of all, she has critiqued the mainstream religion. She has critiqued the mainstream religion, where she has basically challenged the belief of Christianity, right? That her belief is about Christianity is that it's basically deeply intertwined with the patriarchal structure of the society, and then it eventually what happened led to the further operation and marginalization of the woman. She believed what she believed. Other than that, she believed that these institutions, these religious institutions, right, institutions do not just exclude women, but from positions of power, exclusion from social positions and power, but also shape culture which further eventually reinforces male dominance, right? Other than that, the second, when we look into the next idea of how she has even linked it, feminism with meta ethics. So first of all, we'll have to know what is meta ethics. So this is the study of the nature of ethics, and moral concepts, right? That is important, which is what we can say, this is basically proposed by the, this idea is basically proposed by the Mary Daly, right? So she proposed, what she has given the concept in the meta ethics, that women must develop a new kind of ethics, right? New kinds of ethics. which is separate from patriarchal values, which would be not linking with the patriarchal system or patriarchal institution of the society. And what's the reason, what's the intention behind giving the concept of new kind of ethics is that to access deeper truths about themselves and the world, right? And she has used the term radical in its literal sense, and which means that rooted. And she had called for, a return to the roots of female identity, right? Roots of female identity, power and spirituality, that kind of, interpretation. When we look into the further development of her ideological viewpoint, so basically she has used language. She had used language as a tool of feminist awakening. She has worked a lot in the development of a female language or feminine language, right? A language of a woman, right? So she was famous for her creative use of language, which basically coming from her idea of, the political and intellectual transformation of the society, right? So that is one of the important point, like you would have the kind of question you have to see in your examination regarding the development of feminine language, right? So Mary Daly is basically known for the development of a new creative form of language, new interpretation of the words, right? So that important. See, encourage language play. Basically her idea which critique the society, the mainstream society, patriarchal institution, through a new form, development of a new form of language, because she believes that this language, whatever language we speak, is basically coming from the male domination, developed by the male patriarchal institution of the society, right? Which further becomes an important reason for the suppression or operation of a marginalized section of the society, especially women, right? So she focused on a new interpretation or new development of a language, which would be either in the context of, the female's epistemological development, which further give boost to that development, right? To development of female knowledge system, right? Because language is a tool to express, right? And because in this tool there is a lacuna, so how could one express? That is what her idea of language, right? So that's why she criticized first of all language itself, right? The language which is actually coming from the male domination of the society, right? So that's why she has given a new idea of a new form of language, creation of a new form of language, right? And she encouraged language play. It means that playing with words, right? Other than that, spellings or etymologies, right? Capitalization, different things, right? So she encouraged language play in this form. Other than that, she took as a, these things, these playing with words, spellings,